Ni hao and welcome back to Indian Racing League. This is Division 1 and we are in the Algarve region of Portugal for the Portimao Grand Prix, and joining me in the comms box is our last night's winner in Portugal and also the championship contender along with Raman, Srikanth in the comms box. Srikanth, hello. How are you doing? And
Hello.
good to see you back in the comms box after a while, I think.
Yeah, like it's after two races or three, I don't remember, but yeah, it's good to be back here.
Yep, good to have you. And Redstone, if you want to see enthusiasm, you can check the message on the Discord where I tagged everyone. We're all very happy, aren't we, Srikanth, that Redstone is
Yeah.
not racing tonight after dominating throughout the season. And congratulations, Redstone, for your third title in a row. I think equaling Caesar's record, and I think Caesar probably will shut down the league now because he doesn't want anyone else to have more titles than him. And considering Caesar not having enough pace to challenge for a drivers' championship right now. But yeah, good stuff from you, Redstone, and we hope that you slow down just a little bit. When I say just a little bit, I mean about 5 to 6 tenths in the next season, so that we can hopefully get some close racing between other drivers. And Srikanth, thoughts about this track? Enough from me, but
Pretty good track from my side. It's the best track for league racing out there because you can go wheel to wheel, but you will lose time. So yeah, it's every track's case. But yeah, it's a nice track and with a lot of bumps and with a lot of bumps from Cody's as well because there's a speed breaker in middle of the straight out of nowhere. I experienced it in a practice session, but yeah, it's a overall a good track with the all the elevation changes. It challenges you to maximize the traction and everything.
yeah, I personally like this track as well. I think a lot of people don't like it because of the glitched track
That's skill issue.
limits
That's skill
system.
issue.
But
That's
but
skill
it's a
issue.
very wide track for the most part, and you can go three wide at least in most corners. The
Don't give
straight is
them
very
ideas.
wide. So
Don't give them ideas.
no, I won't give them ideas. I don't mind giving them ideas now. I'm not a steward, and I have to look at only the appeals. But spectating your ex-teammate and good friend Harsh in the McLaren on his first run, VFix is also on a lap, and
Man,
Harsh almost
he's
losing
had a
it.
messy lap.
Uh,
Yeah, exit.
yeah, that exit was not the best, but
And we have
still keeps the
VFX
lap.
rounding up the final corner, and he goes up to P1 with the 116.8 on the medium. That's only 2 tenths slower than the D2 pole right there on the medium tire. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
and I think Hirsch is going on for another lap. Well, he's going to complete
No,
this
no,
one,
he's not. He's
but
not.
yeah,
He
but
messed up
he,
his lap.
yeah, I think the second last corner from Hirsch wasn't great either. And let's try to pick up someone else. I think Wicket Wiki is about to start a lap. Let's pick up someone who's in the middle of the lap. Maybe Shooter. Oh, Shooter has invalidated, and Shooter Srikanth got pole last time out
Yeah.
in Jeddah. A surprise pole from him, but not that much of a surprise because he is very quick in
Okay,
qualifying. We have seen that.
shooter is starting his lap, so let's be on board with him, and I will let us through this lap. Yes.
Okay, take it away, Srikanth.
So yeah, shooter going towards the turn one, brakes late, and he's touching the apex and not utilizing the apex exit that much. But yeah, that's an early break for turn three, and he touches the sausage curb. You don't want to touch any kind of curb and put them out because it will unsettle your car way too much, like by half a second. So yeah. And into a hairpin, you can brake late here, and he did that, and he's going into second gear, which is pretty absurd right there. But yeah, and this is the most trickiest part of the circuit, the uphill right-hander turn 8. So let's see how he will manage that, and he manages it pretty neatly into that turn 8 and going towards turn 10, the downhill section, there's no downforce there, so you need to be very careful on your throttle, and he takes the sausage stuff, and that's a pretty scruffy lap from his side. And we have Wicket Wiki going 16-8 in on the soft, and he and Shooter might be facing some traffic with Mercedes. Is that Abhishek? Yes, that is. He might get a some kind of tow, but let's see. Yeah, rounding up the final corner, not hugging the apex. He will take the shortest distance towards the line. So let's see. And DRS enabled, he goes P3, 17-1 on those old tires. Like, he invalidated his first lap, so I guess he did one cooldown lap and then started his lap. So yeah, that's a pretty decent lap from Shooter right there. And meanwhile, Wicked Wiki is on top with a 116.8 right there.
Yeah, 16.8 from Wicket Vicky. Bharat goes P7 with a 17.4. I'm sure Shooter has more pace than what he showed in that run. And as you rightly mentioned, Srikanth took the Sausage Cup a couple of more times than he should have. And this definitely did not help his cause. As you're spectating, Abhishek right now is the lone warrior in the Mercedes. His teammate is taking a vacation, if I'm not wrong. Redstone, let us know in the comments. But Abhishek is racing for Mercedes. And remember, I'm not sure the constructors is sealed for Division 1. So
No,
he's
no,
still,
no, it's not. It's not.
yeah, so that is still something to fight for. And Abhishek, of course, would be fighting a few other drivers for place in the Drivers' Championship. Chips from the pits says hello. And not Sumer goes fastest on a set of
On the
mediums with a
mediums, and
16.7. That is very
it's a
impressive.
zero lap medium. What?
Yeah,
Is that a
that seems to
glitch?
be some kind of a glitch.
And we have Abhishek going into P1 with a 116.4 right there, and not Sumer. He's on
Well,
mediums, but
yeah, I spectated him. He is on mediums, but I'm not sure how it is. Zero lap old
so
mediums. What about Noble Gata? Is on a lap? Yes, he is just past Sumer through the hairpin now. And yes, Srikanth, you had something to say.
yeah, we have like many drivers going on mediums. They are trying to save a set of softs because softs are very crucial on this track.
What do you
So
think the normal standard strategy would be without a safety car on
standard
stack?
strategy without safety car, medium to softs. Nothing
Medium
else.
stocks.
You don't want to touch the hard tire because oh my god, Noble almost losing his car out of
I think
the
that might have been
exit.
a glitch the way his car moved there.
Yeah,
But we'll wait and watch until he finishes the lap. But yeah,
yeah,
you're saying the
as
drivers will avoid the hard tires. There is no need
yeah.
for them to go onto that
Because
hardest
the
compound.
hard tire, well, thanks to our Codis guys, they gave us a C0 compound. Meanwhile, our softs and mediums are C2 and C3. So I don't know why, but yeah. So the hard tire is the worst tire. You don't want to be on that tire. Yesterday we saw Domitor. He had pace, but he lost out P2 in the running by from optical by choosing the hard tire. So
Yeah,
that's
Noble Gata, by the way, has gone fastest with 16.2. So the times are
yeah.
tumbling down, and I think if this is the pace at which they're improving, we might see a low 15s for the pole. Should
But
not
that's a
be.
pretty impressive lap from Noble considering he had the snap out of that exit on turn 10 or 11. And meanwhile, Harsh is also there, that corner only, and he's up by 1.5 tenths. So let's see. Entering into sector 3, he will. This is the most. Never mind, I won't say that. But yeah, I don't like this corner. That's the thing. And Harsh messed it up. So yeah, he took the curb and lost every kind of speed right there. So let's see, rounding up the final corner, he will take the shortest line to the finish line, and he goes P3 with a 16.4.
Yeah,
Not bad from Harsh right there.
8 tenths improvement from Harsh on his second run. And what about Hushrav? Hushrav is on an outlap. We'll keep an eye out on him. He's been racing after a while, and I'm not sure what kind of practice he has done to prepare for this weekend.
And
But
by the way, Harsh is the sole McLaren in the championship with Caesar moving to reserves, ditching his teammate middle of the season. I don't know why he did that, but yeah, sad for Harsh, sad for McLaren. They were in a fight for P2 in constructors.
well, Caesar doesn't really care as long as it is not P1, and that is Caesar has bailed out of that fight. So Harsh, let's see how long can he fight the others. I'm assuming it is Williams. They're fighting along with I
Williams,
want
Aston,
to
and Red Bull.
Aston Martin,
These
yeah,
three are
and Red
fighting
Bull
for
as well.
P2, but Red Bull have an edge over the other two. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean both drivers are racing tonight. We fix is quick Noble Carter on provisional pole, so you would think that
So
Red Bull have a very good chance.
we have PSI in the chat saying Shrikant's pole record is gone. I mean, yeah, what did you expect? That was a 16.6. We have what? Four drivers beating that time already, and one is on mediums.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's see what Hustav does. By the way, Hustav has 2 corners to go before
And
he
by the way,
sees the start finish line, and
Rishabh is up by 9 tenths.
yeah,
So
Ushav
yeah,
is up on his time by quite a lot, and he could very well be on the front row right now if he continues to keep this advantage. Could be a P3. Oh, he's very close to invalidating, it felt like. But across the line goes Hushrav up through the hill, and he's P3 with a 16.3. That's a good attempt, and I think there's still more time to be gained on this lap. UR Lethan, by the way, has put his car in P2 10 thousandths of a second slower than Noble Gata. And Srikanth, speaking of records, we have, oh, by the way, Shooter is up by 2 tenths. Caesar mentioned it earlier today that if someone wins from pole tonight, they will
yep.
be the 100th driver or the 100th different occasion to do so. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We'll keep a note of who eventually takes pole.
And
At
we
the
have
moment,
VFX
it's the Red Bull
going
1-2
P1.
as a 16.0 is the time which is put by VFX, very close to the 15s. And let's see what Shooter does. He has to gain a lot of time.
Things
The
you love
first,
to see. Things you love to see.
yeah, you do love to see that. And here goes Shooter across the line. Is it a good
And he
improvement?
goes
It
only
is. It is
P4.
16.282, 1,000ths slower than you are Lithan. The times are tumbling down very quickly here. What about Abhishek's? I think he's about to complete his lap. And Not So Mer goes faster with a
Oh,
16.0.
200s between
It's
Sumer and VFX.
very, very
And we
close
have
this track.
Abhishek rounding up the final corner, taking the shortest route to the finish line, and he will go only P6. He didn't improve. He improved by only 1.5 tenths. That's not good for the Mercedes. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, by the way, Basil is about to cross the line. He's one corner away from doing that, and let's see what Baz does. He's in P10 right now. I'm sure he would want to improve from there and at least be a few places up, maybe around his teammate. Across the line goes Baz, and he goes
And he's
P6
P6.
just behind the Williams of
Malav,
Shooter.
one thing. Look at the times. Just look at them.
Yeah, I can see
They are
P1 to P10 within
so
7
close.
tenths. P1 to
They are
P9 within 4 tenths or 5 tenths of
They are
each
so
other.
close. See, that's what happened when Redstone is not racing. Redstone, you are listening, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's listening. He's very active in the comment sections. I'm very sure he's listening. Noble Garter, by the way, has gone again, and he's matching his time, his previous time, through the first sector. It's the second and third sector will have to make a lot of
And
improvement
he gets the
as
snap.
Noble Garter.
And he gets the snap. I guess he will abort it and go for a new set of socks.
Well, he's still pushing, and I don't think he's still deploying as well. So, and now he seems to have backed off. He's not deploying his battery anymore. But
Yeah. He is just saving his tires.
yeah, so I think what about Bharat? Is he on a lap? Yes, he is on a lap, and he completes that lap with a time of 17.0 on a slightly older soft tires. Vintage player is out on the track, so is Chips. Finally, he makes his presence felt and is on the lap. Is going to be out of sync with everyone else, so he has the track to himself. And let's see what Chips does. I think this could be his only lap, or maybe he has fueled up for 2 runs. And his Alpine, which I'm sure PSI legends would be keen to see on board. Let's see what Chips does in his qualifying run. Not the fastest in qualifying, but a very, very sensible head on the shoulders of Chips, and he usually makes it up with his brilliant racecraft and patience. And let's see what Chips does. Not the best of the lines through that hairpin, did not utilize the width of the track, and might have been faster. It seems to be missing apexes here and there, but it's still a tidy lap. And let's see what Chips does in the third sector as he goes to that double right-hander. Takes a good apex and not a lot of curb on the exit, and has that tight winding left-hander up ahead before he can put down the throttle. And from here on out, you can be sure that you have the lap, and there are very few places to lose the car, as Chips, with his probably his only lap of the session, is going to come across the line. Oh, he's in the pits.
Oh, that
Okay,
was
he
an
fooled
absurd
all of
line.
us there. And he just came in. So, well, honestly, he still has time to go for another
I
run.
mean,
But
Mala. He's an Alpine. Okay, he needs to keep the heritage alive by being
yeah, and his
last and
teammate
second.
Vintage comes in the pits as well. So both the Alpines doing an outlap almost like an installation
And
lap.
Ethan has left the session.
Oh, I hope
I'll send an
Shrikant,
invite.
yeah, can if you can invite him. But it is the McLaren of Hirsch, and ahead of him it's Husrav in the Ferrari, who are out on track. 16:0 is the time to beat from Not Somer. This is season 4 all over again. Not Somer and VFX, season 4 and 5, peak IRL cinema, and let's see what these two can cook in the race if they are on the front row.
And these guys are. Oh no, it's Noble. Who's ahead of Noble? Is that shooter? Yes, these guys are these guys planning a tow? I guess not. Oh, and Bharat has retired.
And that's
On
not
track?
on the track. That's not on the pits, is it?
Yeah, yeah, it's in the pits. It's in the pits.
Into
It's
the
the
pits.
Ferrari
All
and the
right,
McLaren.
fair enough. But here we go. I think Hustav has started his lap. Is he? He's about to start his lap.
And we have Redstone
And
in the chat cussing out Abhishek for taking his car and being only P7. So yeah,
so we know
Redstone.
it's not the car,
Yeah, it's not the car.
right? So
Well,
Hustav, with a very familiar number 5 on his Ferrari, is
good old
starting
days.
his lap. Yeah, good old days. But yeah, really. Oh, Ethan has joined back, so good for him. And but I don't think he will have time for a run. So that is qualifying done for Ethan, and he will start no further than P4. But Hushrav through the first sector, I'll have to check what kind of gains he made. I think he lost time in the first sector. Yes, 800s lost in the first sector by Hushrav, and he will have to really wring the neck out of his Ferrari, which is already dirty by the grass around it, if he wants to improve on his time. P8 for Hushrav, not very used to qualifying,
But you never
but
know. You
yeah, you
can
never know.
extract time
And
from sector 2 and sector 3 because
yeah,
the
but he's
physics
losing more
never.
time there in sector 2. I don't think this is turning out as well as Hushrav would have hoped, but I think we can put it down to a lack of practice in general from Hushrav. So we'll see out his lap as others have started the lap behind him. Only 23 seconds to
And both
go.
the Red Bulls are on a lap. So is Sumer. So let's see. Sumer is up by 600s. So let's see. Taking the hairpin, he is utilizing every bit of the track right there. So yeah, we also have VFix. VFix rounding up the final first sector. So let's see. I can't see his time split.
Yeah,
Noble, who is entering sector 3, he will one of the first guys to cross the line. He and Harsh. So let's see what
yeah.
happens. And
Let's go
Harsh is
with
up by
Hirsch
600.
first. Hirsch is Hirsch is improving by a little bit. Noble is down on his time, so let's see if Hirsch can actually get ahead of Hushrav, and maybe even Abhishek if he has a really good sector 3. Across the line goes the McLaren, and Hirsch
And
improves to
Abhishek's
P3, and Noble got up behind him, topples him back. So it's Noble in
And
P3,
Abhishek's
Hirsch in
had a
P4.
moment.
What about VFix? VFix is up on his time at right now. VFix is on course
Sumer
to
crossing the
take
line and
pole.
he goes
Yeah, but VFix, watch out
goes
for
into
VFix. It's a good time from Sumer, but VFix might just get him towards the end. VFix,
no,
no, he does not. He loses time in the third sector. What
and we have
about
Basil
everyone
in the
else?
pits. And we have Abhishek rounding up the final sector. He's the final car which can topple not Sumer. Let's see what he can do. Rounding up the final corner, taking the shortest line towards the finish line, and he goes nowhere. He is down in P8.
Yep, practically nowhere
There
for
goes.
Abhishek's P8. That was a bit anticlimactic. I thought he would jump up a few places, but maybe that was not the case. But it is not Sumer who improves his time by about 400ths of a second towards the end. But VFix was up, if I'm not wrong, in the second sector. He just didn't really get it together in the final sector, and it is not Sumer who takes pole. As we said, not Sumer and VFX run it back, peak IRL, and this should be
Look,
fun with
look
Shooter
at
and
this,
Noble
Malav.
behind.
Malav, look at this. P1 to P9.
Yeah,
Three
there it
tenths.
is.
Three
Three
tenths.
times between them, and it's not a very short track either. I know a lot of it is on full throttle and there are fast swooping corners, but there are still a few technical sections around this. It's good to see that the field is this close. And Abhishek, sorry, Redstone, if you're watching, and I know you are, please throw away your PS. Please donate it to someone, and let us have a close season next time around. But it is Sumer on pole along with VFX and Srikanth. I hand it over to you for the rest of the grid.
Yeah. So yeah, we have Not someone taking pole from VFX cutter. That's a pretty close margin. Then we have Shooter, Noble. Then we have Harsh, Ethan, Basil, Abhishek, Hosha, and Wicket Wiki rounding up the top 10. Then we have Bharat, Vintage, setting a time. And then we have Chipsnima. Usually his, no qualifying strat. Redstone. Nice one. But yeah. It will be a battle to watch because VFX and this guy Sumer, these guys are racing from season 4, season 3, and then we have Shooter and Noble, season 9. New versus old, rookie versus experience. So let's see what happens. And uh, let me mention that in the championship from P2 to P6, the gap is only what? 10 points?
It's hardly 10 points between.
Yeah. Between Ethan, Jishnu, Noble, Abhishek, VFX, and that's it. Basil. Oh no, Basil is way back. Basil and Shooter. So yeah.
Yeah, so kind of 15 points between P2 and P6. But it is very close, and anyone could get that P2 behind Redstone Dirt.
And we have lights out. Mala, please take us through the start.
Yep, lights are out, and we should be underway very soon as Chips
And
gets
Chips
the
gets a
drive
drive-through.
through.
So does both the Alpines. My God.
And it's a good start by Sumer, and VFix once again compromise with the start, and he's round. And both the Red Bulls, they're last.
Did they make contact?
No, they didn't make contact. It was Shooter and VFix who made contact. And I can see Hushraf in the gravel almost. Yeah, he did go into the gravel. Is now back racing. Chips ahead of him, gets a drive-through. Does Vintage have a drive-through as well, if you can confirm?
Abhishek is up by 3 positions. And yes, he's back up into P5 and he's in an Aston Martin sandwich. You don't want that because I saw what happened in Monaco. So let's see. Let's continue. And we have not so many. He is pulling away from Shooter right there, and he has pulled out a gap of a second from Shooter. And now Harsh is closing in on Shooter right there. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, and not Sumer making good use of those soft tires, but he's the only one on soft, Srikanth. Everyone else on the mediums apart from Bharat, who is on a set of hard tires. VFX, I don't think he has damage. I'm yet to check Noble's car. Let's see if he's missing an end plate. He doesn't seem to be missing an end plate.
No one is having damage. Both the Red Bulls are...
You can expect everyone to just stay out on track and not pit, as not Sumer completes the first lap with a healthy margin of 1.2 seconds. Chips in the pits to serve his drive-through. And behind you can see so many drivers coming. It's URL Basil chasing Wicket Wiki for P6. And once again, VFX, I'm not sure what it is about him and lap 1 and
Abhishek, and they are side by side. They almost make contact and up towards the hairpin. So let's see how this goes. Basil. Oh, these guys are impatient.
Baz does want to get ahead of Abhishek. It's also because they're on the same strategy, so he would not want to let Abhishek try and overtake on the cars ahead of him, which is his teammate URL Ethan. So Abhishek's in a bit of a Aston Martin sandwich, as you said, Srikanth. But yeah, coming back to VFX's incident with Shooter, he usually gets involved in first lap incidents. VFX does not get a good start off the line, and that compromises his track position and ability
the turn
to fight.
One is also a bit tricky in Portimao because someone has to back out. If no one backs out, they both are in the mud.
So, yeah, so I think it was VFX who took that sausage cub and paid the price for it. He's in P12 right now. Well, if you see, the pack is still not really spread out. So VFX.
And we have Hushav on Bharat. Hushav down the inside on the main straight. He will make the move, use the straight line. And Bharat is not backing out. He is there, but now he has to back out. So yeah, Hushav is up into P8 and Bharat almost losing his car, just like VFX right there. So yeah. I mean, Bharat is paying the price of choosing the hard.
Here goes Basil. Here goes Baz. He's going to use his batteries this time around. DRS has been enabled. Abhishek does not have DRS. And Baz is going to go down the inside of the Mercedes. They're going to side by side through the apex of the corner. Abhishek still has and deserves some space on the outside. But Baz has made that move stick. But in all that, he seems to have lost some touch to his teammate ahead. So he would want to close that gap quickly. Because on the main straight, Srikanth on the next lap, he would be vulnerable without DRS.
Yeah. The thing is, if you fight in Portimao, you lose huge chunks of time. So you have to like plan your moves, which corner, which lap, and how much battery. You need to plan all that. Otherwise, you are losing 2 seconds to the car ahead. And in talking about 2 seconds, Sumay has gapped Shooter by 2 seconds, and Shooter is not looking in a comfortable position as Harsh is closing in on Shooter, and Harsh will have DRS. Harsh down the inside in on the main straight will make the move and will move up into P2. And yeah, Harsh will make the move, and then we have Vintage in the pit serving his drive through. He will, I guess, come behind his teammates. So let's see.
Yeah, he will lose the position. No, I think he might just be ahead of his teammate. It will be close between the Alpines. Let's watch that before we see anything else. It's battle for P12, and Chips
And
does
Chips
get
as
ahead. A rare footage of the Alpines
And
battling
talking
each other.
about being close, Abhishek is smelling the gearbox of URL Basil right there. And yeah, URL Basil not closing up to Ethan. And so let's see.
So
And
Ethan is being dragged along with the DRS and Shooter and Hush while they battle it out. Ethan is just being patient, but Baz has not been able to catch up to his teammate. So once again on the back straight, well, the last time was an opportunity which Abhishek did not take. But this time around, Abhishek might have to go for it because look at Wicket Wiki just behind them. If Abhishek doesn't make the move, Wicket Wiki will. And Abhishek, let's see what he does up ahead. Shooter might be in a position to get Harsh back. We'll have to stay with this battle between Abhishek, Wicket Wiki, and Basil. It is Abhishek who's going for the move. What about Wicket Wiki? Is he going to go for move for again? No, he does not and sticks behind the Aston Martin. But it is Shooter who has taken P2 from Harsh. And I think all this battling between P2 and P3, while it's on the straight, so it's not making them lose a lot of time, Srikanth. But at the same time, not Sumer is lapping very well.
and we have Abhishek setting the fastest sector 1 out of all. So yeah, I guess Abhishek is pushing now. So he needs to close the gap to Ethan and gap URL Basil to gain some breathing space, because you don't want to hurt your tires too much on this track with only mediums and softs. So yeah, you need to be careful of your tires.
Yeah, so Sumer clearly on a strategy which is a softs to mediums, or maybe even softs to hards if he decides to pit early. But let's see what he does. He has so far made that strategy count in the first 5 laps of the race, but he will have to be careful about his tires, and let's see how he manages the rest of the stint. Because while he seems to be gapping the pack behind, it is also important for
And
him.
Ethan and Harsh
And
and
oh,
Shooter,
this is
these
going to be
three
three
are going
wide.
3 wide into turn 1. Harsh will stay ahead. Ethan will make the move on Shooter, and Harsh and Ethan make the move on Shooter. Shooter not having DRS was left out vulnerable right there. So yeah, but now Shooter and Ethan will have DRS. They are going trying to go side by side into turn 4, but no. Ethan closes the door, and Shooter will have DRS. Will he look for a dive down the inside? No, he won't. He will stay patient, and all of that, Abhishek, Basil, and Wicket Wiki has closed up the gap from 2.2 to 1.8.
And
So
Abhishek, Basil, and Wicket keep fighting. Look who has joined the fight behind them. It's Hushrav. So, the, if we didn't have enough drama and entertainment already, we can now be sure that Hushrav is going to make or attempt at least some daring moves, and it's always entertaining to watch as Abhishek round he goes at the traction, and my God, that's
and he's
not a
beached,
good
and
sight.
he's beached, and he's beached.
Is it beached?
Yeah, his car is
It's on the
beached.
grass. Why?
No, his front wing is wedged. So yeah, he had to
And
reset.
yeah, he had to reset. That's unfortunate. And commiserations to Redstone, who's watching this from wherever
Redstone,
he
I
is in the
guess you
middle of
should
nowhere.
close the.
Here goes Wicket Wiki. Sorry to cut you off there, Srikanth. Here goes Wicket Wiki. I'll spectate from the POV of Hushrav, but Wicket Wiki has made a move on Basil, has he? Yes, he does. And Baz has to mount that sausage curb just a little bit. But Hushrav, he is just hiding in the shadows right now. And oh, Baz almost losing at the exit of turn 4 there. Here goes,
Okay, 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 okay,
here goes,
Malam,
here goes,
Malam,
here
Malam.
goes, shoot, here goes Hushraf. Control dive down the inside. And he does not make it click. Yes,
Yeah,
Srikanth.
because there is no grip on the inside, so Hushrav had to concede the plays. And talking about the lead, the trio of Harsh, Ethan, and Shooter has closed up the gap by half a second to North Sumer in the last lap, from 2.6 to 2.1. Now it's dropping down to 2. So these guys are pulling each other towards Sumer. Can't
Yes,
these
they
guys
are.
do the same thing with Redstone?
But Redstone is just too quick, which is why they can't do it. But yeah, I think it's also a factor of the soft tires slowly falling off the cliff. While there
And we
was,
have a yellow flag, and that's
it's Abhishek
Abhishek.
again.
Did he spin? No.
No, it didn't spin, but it definitely there was a yellow flag with the Mercedes around them. And let's see what happens this time. I'm still on board with.
Basil down the inside will make the move, and he is up back into P5. And Wicked Vicky has to concede because they can't fight. They will just lose time to the trio of Shooter Arch and Ethan. These three are like playing it mindfully, unlike these. So yeah,
Here
let's
goes.
see. And Wicked
Oh,
Vicky
here
almost
goes.
losing his car.
Yeah, Wicket
Ooh.
Vicky not having the best of the corners there, and
And
Hushrao makes the
Ethan
most of
and
it.
Harsh,
It's up into
great
P6
positions.
as Ethan and Harsh. These three, yeah, as you said, are fighting, and Harsh almost pushing Ethan through that corner, and this is now making them lose time to Sumer again. So Harsh being very impatient, and he wants to get ahead of the Aston Martin, but he has to do it at a place where he does not risk getting re-overtaken, which is what Portimao can do to you if you're not clever enough about the part of the track where you make that overtake. So let's see what Hirsch does. He seems to be having the better grip out of at least between him and Ethan, but he's also susceptible to an overtake from the Williams of Shooter behind.
But Shooter has closed up to Harsh by too much. Like he is, even with DRs, he's closing in on Harsh, but he won't make the move. They will wait for the second DR straight, I guess. And Hushav and Basil trading position. Hushav down the inside into turn 1 will make the move, and he is up into P5. Basil will look for a move into turn 4. No, turn 3. No, he won't. But oh, Hushav is closing every kind of door possible for Basil right. And we have Wicked Vicky looking for a dive, but no, he will back out.
Yeah, we can keep playing it smart and not getting involved at this moment. But let's see if Hushraf this time can pull these two drivers towards the next group of cars as Hirsch and Ethan still going in a line of stern, and the gap to Somer has increased. It was 2 seconds at one point in time, Srikant,
Yeah,
and now it
yeah.
is 3.5. So they are definitely losing time despite the soft tires clearly having lost their advantage. But this battling is not helping them, and they need to sort it out quickly because otherwise, not Somer will be unchallenged through the rest of the race.
Yeah, we have a pair of trios in here who are fighting each other and not gaining any kind of time. And in all of that, both the Red Bulls have climbed up places from like what 12, 13 to 8, 9, and they are closing in on the pack of Hushraf, Basil, and Wicked. So yeah,
Yes,
this
they
will be
are.
interesting to watch.
And now
And
this time it is Basil who gets ahead of Hustrav, and I'm sure Hustrav and Baz don't mind that as long as they're making the overtake stick on the main straight so as to not lose each other any time. And Wicket Vicky, I think he's happy to sit behind the pair of them as well. At the same time, but Hustrav is pretty close, and I wouldn't rule out a dive bomb from Hushrav. There he goes down the inside the Ferrari. He has to take a compromised line, and Baz will swoop around the outside, and plenty of space given to each other. That's good racing. But Hushrav, I think he should have learned from his first attempt there. Going down the inside, he probably won't be able to make that overtake stick. 4 seconds the gap, Srikanth at the top.
I mean, I don't think that will close soon enough because these three are not pushing. Like they have let Ethan to drive, and I don't think Ethan is using his battery and tires to like close the gap to Sumer. I mean, you need to conserve your tires. It's the longer you go, the better you are because the undercut doesn't work here. That's the thing.
Let's see, Hirsch is pretty close, so I think he might be in a place to make an overtake on the Aston Martin of Yoralithan this time, and it could be the McLaren's turn to lead the other two cars into the race as down the inside goes Hirsch and he makes the overtake streak. What
Yeah,
about Hushrov
this
down the
thing,
inside of Ural Basil and Hushrov makes the overtake streak as well. It's a pretty
this
standard
thing is this thing is costing
overtakes,
them time.
and now it is Hirsch who's going to lead them into the next part of the track, and let's see if Hirsch can gain any sort of time on Sumer.
No, no, no. The
Who's
thing is, these guys are not losing time. They are losing time into turn one because they are going side by side, and the leading car is taking the inside line, which is not the optimal racing line, and you lose like 2-3 tenths over there only. So it's hard to cope up with that. So these guys need to like overtake smartly. These guys are not working together like that.
well, we'll see what happens. Hirsch seems to have slightly more pace in free air than Ethan did. The gap is just about 6 tenths, and further behind all the time, all the while, Hushrov and Bass seem to be gaining on this group of car, but not by much. But VFX and Noble are definitely gaining on the next group of cars. Your Ethan and Hirsch, the gap is 6 tenths, and I don't think Ethan is in a position to make an overtake on this lap.
I mean, Ethan also needs to recharge his battery and cool down his tires, so he's just chilling in his Hirsch's slipstream. So yeah, he doesn't need to make the move. These three, they didn't lose that much of a time going into this lap. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, so my question to you, Srikant, now, as Hushrov gets a 3 second time penalty. But Srikant, my question to you, it's 11 laps on those soft tires. When do you think Somer is going to come in for a pit stop?
Lap 14.
Lap 14. So 2 laps from now is when we can expect the Alfa Romeo to peel into the pits, and I'm assuming it will be lap 18 or 19 for, or maybe even lap 20 for the medium runners when they decide to pit.
Yeah, lap 20 to 22 you can pit for the medium runners on the soft tire.
Right. So we'll keep an eye out on that, as this is slowly turning into a snooze fest even without Redstone. As nothing really is happening, it's pretty standard overtakes, if at all. But strategically, they are still losing time to Somer. Look at that, almost 5 seconds now, and I think Baz might be in a position to lose a position to Wicked Wiki Easy. No, in fact, he's going to go for a move on Hushrov, and he does go up into P5. But once again, 3.6 seconds off. Hushrov is going to go down the inside. Yes, he is. Hushrov is not giving this up easily, and Wicked Wiki might have a chance here. As Hirsch and Ethan swap places.
Down the inside, going up for P2, and that's a pretty. And they make contact again. These guys, what are you guys doing? You guys are losing time to Sumer only. Just don't do that. And Ethan will take the lead for P2. Take the lead for P2. That's absurd, but okay.
Yeah. Take the lead for P2. That's your audio clip if you ever wanted one from Srikant. I have another audio clip, guys, if you're interested, and that is something which I'll publish it later. But Ethan, Ethan in that overtake has made Sumer so comfortable, 5.2 seconds, and I think it's a testament to the fact that Sumer is holding up well, but also that this battling, and as you said, they are not being smart about it, is just costing them time, hand over fist.
But
yeah, this time
Sumer
Shooter
is also doing a. Okay, Shooter.
it was very close.
They are back now. Yeah.
As Baz makes a move for on Husra for P5. So lap 14 is here, and Srikant. Let's see if Sumer comes in for a pit stop.
Yeah, but in all of that, Sumer has done a fantastic job. He has he's managing his battery, managing his tires the best because he's gapping. He's just chilling right there.
We'll see what happens as Husra is almost touching Baz's gearbox there. Baz goes deep into that corner, and Husra might have a chance here. Why are they battling in this section of the track? I will never know. But look at Hussav almost pushing back through the double right hand. He's gonna go for a move down the inside, or at least it felt like he will. And all the while, Wicked Vicky must be furious in his Alpha Tauri, because this is a useless battle, and gaining track position like this will not yield anything. Is Sumer coming in the pits? Yes, right on cue, Srikanth. Sumer is in the pits, and I'm assuming there'll be a set of new mediums waiting for him as Ethan
Yep.
takes the lead, but Harsh will soon retake that lead from him, and it's a net P2 for Harsh as Sumer is in the pit, and he goes for a set of medium
But
tires. He
the
will
thing
come
is,
out in, I'm assuming, P10.
Malav, he will be stuck in traffic.
Yep,
If he
let's see.
catches up to the pack, he will be stuck in
So he's
traffic.
gonna come out behind his teammate. So let's see how much time does Bharat cost him. Maybe not a lot if he knows that Sumer is the de facto race leader. As Hushrav and Basil still going side by side, they've made a habit of going side by side through that corner, and they're still going at it in sector 2. And Wicked Wiki is just having a first row ticket to all this action, but providing some entertainment here, but they're not helping each other's races, even their own races for that matter. And Hushrav goes very wide at the entry of that corner, but still gives a push. No! Wicked Vicky almost losing it, and he could have put himself in the wall. He does not do that. And let's see what happens as Sumer is quickly past Bharat, and there's a good 6 second gap to the next car. So I don't think Srikanth Sumer is gonna get held up.
But in all of that, VFX and Noble have caught up, and we have who? We have Hushrav pitting in. Is he pitting on the hards? Don't, please don't. No, Hushrav, don't.
Well, we'll see. It's the Ferrari strat of pitting on
And
the hard.
of course, he is on the hard tires.
It
Hushrav,
is
please look at the
the Ferrari.
Dino screen before racing. My guy, don't do that. Oh my god. This guy is gone. I mean, it's Ferrari. It's Ferrari. I'm not surprised. And we
Yeah.
have a yellow flag, and that's vintage player in the pinning.
Yeah, vintage player. He has.
And we have chips also in the pits. No chips. Chips. Why are you
Ferrari
guys
and
doing-
Alpine doing what Ferrari and Alpine do best. Chips is in fact going on a set of hards as well. Vintage player continues on, and do we have anyone else pitting? I don't think the medium runners will pit at least for the next lap or two, as Obinav has finally woken up, and he could have raced with us tonight, but he chose to sleep instead. And hello, Charles, or Charis as Harsh calls him in the comment section.
So yeah, the battle is at a stalemate right now, but VFX is also losing time to the trio, duo of Basil and Wicked right there. So yeah, let's see what happens between them. And in all of that, Harsh is closing up to Ethan. Harsh is 3 tenths down from Ethan. So let's see, and Soma is setting the first lap right there.
Yeah, Sumer can see both the Red Bulls ahead of him, and I don't think it will take him very long to catch up to the first of them, which is Noble Garter, who was sticking around, was sticking with VFX, but as the laps went by, he has fallen off the pace, and he's 4 seconds adrift of his teammates. So I don't think Sumer will have any difficulty catching up, or rather passing Noble Garter, and then he will have a further 4 seconds before he can catch up to VFX. But by that time, it is possible, Srikanth, that the medium runners might decide to pit. So it's important for Sumer to catch and pass Noble Garter the first time of asking. I think he's doing exactly that. 7 tenths is the gap, which should rapidly decrease in the next part of the track, and on the main straight, it is Sumer who should be. It has to be efficient, but I think it is going to be efficient. And in fact, oh, it is Noble Garter holding him up. This is the stuff of dreams, and Checo Perez would be
And they're
so
going
proud.
side by side, and oh, Noble will get the DRS. He might keep the position from not to make it the DRS. Why?
Yeah, maybe the DRS detection was not where we thought it would be, but it is Sumer who is up into P7. I'm sure he lost at least 3 to 4 tenths in that battle just because Noble was crawling through that second last corner. It is Hirsch who defends from Ethan for the lead of the race right now, and they would be happy if they came to know that Noble Garter has cost at least some time to not Sumer. But
And
lap
still
18,
Somer going fastest sector 1.
yeah, because that happened at the end of
We have a
the
yellow
lap.
flag and it's Abhishek. Where are you
Abhish-
going, brother? Where are you going?
Well, not going according to plan for Mercedes. As Noobshan says hello, Noobshan, belated happy birthday, and I hope that we don't see you racing anytime soon. Abhishek's still out on those mediums, and let's see when they decide to pit. Undercut, as Srikanth you said, is not something which drivers would want to go with, but they will have to pit at some point in time. And so far, no one really wants to take that.
Lap 20, you will start seeing. And we have Harsh losing the position to Ethan. They're still side by side. Into turn 1, Harsh pushes Ethan off. And that's some hard racing right there. And not so again setting the first lap, 118.8 right there. And these two are still fighting. Harsh with the twitchy rear end. Ethan having a better run. Ethan down the inside will make the move. And he inherits the provisional lead right now. So, yeah. And still, Harsh is not giving it up, and Harsh with the better traction is up into the lead, back again into turn 8. Yeah.
See, this is entertaining right now, but all they're doing is doing not Sumer a favor by fighting this hard in the middle of the lap and costing each other and shooter the time. And Sumer should be easily into the lead of the race unless there's a safety car. As Noobshan says, it was not his birthday. Yeah, exactly why I put the disclaimer in my birthday wish for you, Noobshan. So I've known you guys to not be very accurate with your birthday wishes, if I can say so. URL Basil is under a lot of trouble right now as Wicked Wiki is chasing him for P4. They have stayed out and Hushra won those hearts, not really making an impression as Harsh, I think, is once again exchanging positions, and
And in
here
all
goes
of that,
Sumer is
in
ahead
all
of
of that,
VFX.
Abhishek is back out on hards. I don't know why, what was bro thinking? I don't know what are these guys doing? I don't know. Do your race runs, guys. Do your race runs.
Yeah, always do race runs.
So not your race runs, Malav. Not in the qualify, in the practice session. Yeah. But let's continue in the for the
So
battle
not
for
Sumer
P4.
has caught up to this pack between Wicked Wiki and Baz, and so they are a pit stop down. So is VFix, of course, but he has been dispatched, and I'll be on board with Sumer to see what kind of traction he gets out of this uphill right-hander. He thought about going for it because of the superior traction he got from his pressure tires, but right now he continues to stay behind, and he needs, just like with Noble Garter, he needs to get ahead of this car very efficiently without losing a lot of time. He might go down the inside of the AlphaTauri, and let's see what happens as Sumer is ahead of Wicked Wiki. No, in fact, it is, yes, Sumer is ahead of Wicked Wiki, and now it is Sumer on the back of Baz, and he should be ahead of Baz. I think Harsh and Shooter are both in the pits. Baz is diving into the pits as well. Sumer should take P2 once this is done, and he has 6.5 seconds gap to URL Ethan. What a stint from Sumer, and Ethan and Harsh and Shooter all on those softs, I assume. Well, Ethan is yet to pit, but
But
VFix
these
is in the
guys
pits as
need
well.
to, like, Sumer needs to conserve his tires, and we have. Oh no. Oh, okay, it's okay. I thought Hushav and Bharat coming back on track, P4 and P5 and Bharat.
So imagine these people, which is Harsh and Shooter, lost so much time, Harsh and Shooter, that they are behind Hushrav now. Hushrav triggered that undercut, and well, his hard tires will obviously not help him. But Bharat is yet to pit, where he can completely hold
And
him up.
Bharat is already struggling, and Harsh down the inside into turn 7 will make the move, and he is ahead.
Harsh is ahead of Bharat, and Harsh, I think, is already in DRS.
Shooter is also going for the move, and Shooter down the inside into turn 9, and yep, he is up into P6. Now Harsh and Shooter need to climb back and make the undercut work, as Ethan
He
is
still is
out
going
there on
on.
hold.
Yeah, he's not pitting. I think he's waiting for a safety car of sorts.
But there's no
As
safety guy, and Husham makes a mistake, and Harsh is down the inside, and he is up into P4. Now his next target is Noble Gata, and Noble Gata
I
is
don't think
pitting.
Hushro made a mistake. I think he wanted DRS, which is why he uh, let Harsh go. And look at that, Hushro with DRS might just come back at Harsh if he's not careful, or at least stick with the McLaren. As I think Bharat finally pits. So does Noble Gata. And VFix and Wicket Wiki going side by side. These two, remember, had an incident in Saudi Arabia, and it is VFix this time coming out on top in P7, and he has URL Basel for the company up ahead.
And Shooter making the move on Hushra, and Shooter is up into P4 down the inside. He goes into the hairpin, and I guess he picked up a warning like that. But Hushra is sticking there. He needs to just conserve his tires and his pace.
Yeah, it's almost
Because,
unfair now for Khusrav because he's on those old hard tires versus these people who
oh,
are on fresh
by
softs.
the way, the gap between P1 and P2, the chasing pack for P2 was what, 4 seconds or 5
Yeah,
seconds? Now it's 15 seconds.
yeah, it was 5 seconds before Sumer decided to pit. That's how much time
And
they've lost, and Sumer is going to have a very healthy margin to everyone behind him. Ethan
we
finally
have
decides
Ethan
to
in the
pit.
pits.
Yeah, Ethan finally deciding to pit. And let's see what happens as B-Fix on the back of Baz. It should be an easy standard overtake for the Red Bull as
And
shoot.
Shooter
Oh,
said,
Khusrav! Khusrav in the pits and he
Tushar
has
has
retired. He has
retired.
acknowledged his strategy blunder and Ferrari have called
By
him
the
in
way,
for a pit stop. Yes,
I
Srikanth.
guess Shooter broke my race lap record right there. Let
As
me check.
VFix in an attempt to go for a move on Baz
Oh,
once
yes, he
again
did.
took that sausage curb and is lost a
What did
position
he?
to Wicket Wiki as well. Shrikant, can you hear me?
Yep. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yep,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can. And yeah, what happened to your lap record? Did it
Let me
break
check.
or
Let me check. No. Few hundreds. So let's not talk about that and continue. And Rushav has left the session.
yeah, he
Well,
retired in the
it's
pits and
Ferrari.
that's
It's Ferrari. I don't blame him.
right. So 13 seconds is the gap and 9 laps to go. Srikanth predictions. Do you think the soft runners will be able to catch, let alone pass? Not Sumer.
Nope. No. They might come around the DRS range of Sumer, but passing pretty difficult.
It is going to be difficult for sure, even catching, because the soft tires, after I'm assuming 6 to 7 laps, will start losing some grip and some tire
No, but
advantage.
they are gaining and gaining on Sumer. I mean, Shooter and Harsh needs to work together because if they give each other DRS, they can close up the gap to Sumer. And we have
Wicket,
Wicket, we can we fix
yeah,
switching
Wicket Wiki
positions.
just letting VFX past so that he can probably attack the next group of cars, which is Baz and Ethan, and then let's see if any of those cars can catch up to Harsh and Shooter.
So the gap coming from 14 seconds to 12.5 in matter of 1.5 laps. So yeah, this will be a battle to watch, Malo.
It will be indeed. So we'll keep an eye out on that gap and see how much the soft runners are gaining after each lap. But right now, it is still, I would say, in not so much favor because I expect the soft tires to lose their grip after a few laps or a few laps from before the end of the race. But here is VFix now is firmly within DRS of Baz, but Baz is also within DRS of his teammate. So I think that's going to be a stalemate at least on this lap as Baz gets pretty close to Ethan, but
And
he
that
will
pushes
still have.
VFX out of his DRS. No, he left him back in. So
For now, VFX is within DRS and Shooter and Hirsch. Let's see what they do. So when Hirsch and Ethan were fighting, I don't think it was the smartest of battles. As long as catching up to Sumer is concerned, let's
but
see if Hirsch
they
and Shooter.
are gaining a second per lap.
Yeah,
Harsh
that's
and
just
Shooter.
our advantage. But if they play even smarter and just DRS each other on the main straight, they could maybe gain even more time on the race leader. As Caesar in the chat says hello.
Hello, Caesar. So, how it's like abandoning your team, the Papaya Boys?
Yeah,
Like
Caesar,
you
please
guys
answer
were
that
in,
question.
you guys were in a fight for P2, and now it's like that. And Harsh is solo carrying the team.
And he's doing a good job of carrying. He's in P2 right now, hunting down the race leader with an advantage of more than a second a lap. So, not over yet. And let's see what happens. Is Baz close? No, he is not.
My bad.
But I think that this race needs a safety car, Srikanth. That would really spice things up.
You want me to drive? I will
No,
call the safety car right now.
these days you also don't cause a safety car because you lead from the front and you do those good laps and win the race. But we need someone like TBK who has been banned. But
Sad.
yeah, where is TBK where you need him?
So Caesar saying life happened, else Aston Williams and Narvi had nothing on us. Oh,
Well,
that's
I
some
wouldn't say
strong words
nothing
coming
because
from you.
Williams and Aston and even Red Bull, all three teams were pretty strong in terms of the driver lineup. So I wouldn't say they had nothing on the McLarens. But here goes VFix. I think he is going to line up a move on Baz, whose red light is flashing. He doesn't have enough battery. VFix does have DRS and battery, and Baz, in fact, was lost out on DRS on Ethan. That is not something which I expected. 10 seconds is the gap ahead, and 7 laps to go, including this one, Srikanth.
And they are not gaining as per
Yeah,
like
that
a second up.
advantage, as expected, is dying down, and I think Not Sumer will become the 100th instance of a driver winning from pole position.
He might. He might as it stands. And that was a brilliant first stint from Sumer right there, like managing his soft tires, managing his pace, gapping the trio of her shooter and Ethan. That was just brilliant stuff from Sumer right there.
It was a good stint indeed, and yeah, rolling the times back from season 4 and 5, where he was once again fighting for those race wins. But unfortunately, his rival VFX had a very familiar first lap incident, which is why he's not in the fight for the win. But otherwise, he could have very well been here fighting his old rival. Well, I say old, but these guys are pretty young, younger than you, I'm sure. Sumer is, as
No,
Harsh and Shooter.
Sumer is my age and Vfix is older than me.
I know VFX is older than you, but Sumer's
Yeah.
not in D1 and S4. So maybe it was season 5 where Sumer and VFX had that titanic battle throughout the season as Harsh and Shooter do exchange places. And it is Shooter who's leading the pack now. But once again, I think they're just not gaining enough.
Now they are not gaining enough. They need to gain 1.2 second per lap to like close the gap. 1.1.
Well, Hushrav, you are welcome to do comms if you don't like my
Yeah.
commentary,
I mean,
unless
we don't have anything to commentate on.
yeah,
That's our only
you could have
source
chosen a
of
better strategy for us
exactly.
for to commentate on. But yeah, you chose to do the Ferrari way and go on hard tires of 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 the all the options you had on the table, and you thought you were doing an
Hard time.
undercut, but yeah, not
And PSA
the
asking why retire. Ferrari happened to him. I mean, it was his own mistake, but still, Ferrari happened to him.
yeah, it was Ferrari. It was Ferrari. Here goes Hirsch, by the way. I think he's gonna make a move on shooter. Is he? No, he's
No,
gonna
he
stay
won't. No, he
behind.
won't.
But
These guys are
but in the
just
last
playing.
lap, Srikanth, they did not make any gains. In fact, they have lost some time. Maybe
Or
Tosumer.
wait a minute, they are like dragging each other from Ethan. Ethan, who was like 5 seconds behind the duo, Now it's 3.2 and he's gaining and gaining. Who is on 2 laps fresher tires? So they might have shifted their target from Sumer to Ethan.
Well, Ethan should not be the target anyway because he's a few seconds behind.
He's closing up. He's closing up from 3.2 to 2.9 in one sector. And Harsh almost losing it. Oh my god, Harsh. So yeah, so it's a stalemate on top, in midfield, and the back end, and we have Chips and Abhishek fighting for the final point-being position. So yeah, and we have Chips' light flashing. So yeah,
Yeah, say, oh,
and
Chips!
Abhishek, and
Oh, it's
Abhishek,
Abhishek,
and
my
it's a
bad.
safety car.
It's a safety car. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Srikanth has left the session on that note. He didn't like the safety car one bit.
Hello.
Yeah, what happened to you, Srikanth?
I pulled my LAN cable. I was too excited.
And Harsh is in the pits. Look at that safety car. I just
Oh
spectated
my
Abhishek because I thought he was going for a move
god. And
on
I dropped my controller. I guess it's broken. Oh my god.
and
Look.
you got a feel for not Sumer. Why did he not pit? Had he passed the start finish straight? I'm not sure what happened there.
He
Everyone
didn't
behind
pit.
him. No, he didn't pit. He can still pit.
But he will drop down if he pits now. That's the
No,
thing.
it's 36 seconds, Srikanth.
Oh, then he can obviously pit because that's 18 seconds. The delta is 18 seconds in here, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I was
Well,
praying for a safety car. I didn't mean it to be at the expense of Abhishek's, but it's fine. I mean, he didn't. He's
Abhishek's
still
doing the
running.
noble work. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still running. It's just the debris on the track, which is why there's a safety car. And God bless Codemasters. God bless EA. Sumer, if you get a 5 second here, I will. Yeah, he's being very careful.
Just close the stream.
Yeah, yeah, I'll retire from commentating. But somewhere in the pits, 36 seconds is the gap. He will easily come out ahead of the
Ooh, did he
pack behind.
almost lap Chips and Abhishek's?
Yeah, he
Damn.
did. Yeah, he almost did. But I think
Why
he
is
will
Sumer
catch up.
waiting? Oh, acha, no, he is.
Yeah, that must be a glitch. But let's go. This is what we wanted. Everyone on fresh softs,
Two,
and
two laps, one lap of racing. Oh, okay. The safety
don't.
car
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be in
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
The
safety
safety
car
car.
will be in this lap. Oh my god, no, don't do that. Oh, Cody's, please don't.
Yeah, it should be
Oh,
in this lap because they
oh,
would
by the
want
way, Malav,
what?
this race is anyone's to win now.
Yeah, it is anyone's to win, and I expect a few dive bombs from drivers, as I think the chasing pack will just about make his way, but not everyone will be able to catch up. I think, especially the Alpines,
Uh,
might, and even Bharat for that matter, might not make it.
well, no DRS, old new tires, full battery, pure racing. This is what we asked for, and Cody's gave us.
Yeah, Code is
I mean,
good.
Abhishek gave us. Thanks, Abhishek.
Thank you, Abhishek. While we hate on one Mercedes driver, the other Mercedes driver cannot be
Oh,
hated.
by the way,
Safety car is
Abhishek's
in this
playing the
lap.
big brain time. Like, he crashed out, bunched up the field. Now he can he can finish P5 if he plays it smartly.
How will he
Maybe
finish
higher.
P5? Look at the gap.
Oh, acha, he didn't
He
catch
might
it.
not catch up to the pack in time.
Okay.
But I'll go on board with Harsh. In fact, I'll go on board with Ethan to see what
I'm going
Sumer
on
does.
board with Basil. Let's see.
And let us see when Sumer decides to go. He will have to wait a little bit because safety car is still, now it is entering the pits, and Sumer has not gone yet. They are all still weaving and putting temperature into their tires. Sumer
And he's
is now
gone.
gone. Sumer is gone now, and here goes Ethan on Hirsch. Hirsch is going to be vulnerable going into turn one. Ethan has the outside line, Hirsch has the inside line, and Hirsch does come out on top there. And VFix behind them, not making a place as of yet as Shooter mounts that sausage curve. This is the second last lap of the race, and Hirsch is going to look at the defense from Hirsch. Ethan is going to go down inside. I think he did. Oh, there's end plate flying. I
And
think
there's an
Ethan.
end plate.
Yeah, I think
That's
Ethan
Red
lost his
Bull.
end
Oh,
plate.
that's Ethan only. Yeah, that's Ethan only without an end plate. And Hush down the inside into turn 7 will go for the courageous move. So is VFix and VFix up into P4. Ethan is falling down like a stone. And we have Basil, his teammate is just behind him, who is under threat from Noble right there. Oh my god, D1, you never disappoint us. Unless it's Redstone, but yeah.
But look at
No.
Suma, the gap. 1 second, he is not waiting around to find out. VFix is less than 3 tenths behind Hirsch, and it's the last lap of the race, which they are going to start in a few seconds. And VFix has a real shot at the podium right now as Sumer extends the gap in front. So VFix is going to get a double, triple toe from the cars ahead of him, and he is using his full battery. He doesn't have a lot of battery left. Hirsch might go down the inside of Shooter. No, he does not. Is VFix going to go for a dive bomb into turn 3? He does go for a half attempt, but it is not going to work out in his favor just yet. But there is still a few more overtaking zones to go, especially the hairpin, the left-handed hairpin into turn 5 as we fix. Well,
No
I
one is
don't
going
think.
for a move into the
Yeah, I
hairpin,
think
yeah.
he was not close enough to go for that overtake. So Shooter remains in P2, and Sumer, I think, has done just about enough to win. Or Shooter almost extending track limits there, but I'm not sure if he got a warning there. If it did, it won't matter. And
And VFX down
VFX
the inside
down the
Harsh.
inside of Harsh.
And that was way too close. And these guys are out unscathed right there. And Wicked Wiki is following VFX. And so let's see. And we have Sumer rounding up the penultimate corner. And he had a bit of power slide, but yeah. And yeah, he's rounding up the final corner, and in his comeback race, he will come back on top. And Sumer wins the Portimao Grand Prix, and we have Shooter and Hush finishing and rounding up the podium. Then we have VFix in P4, Wicked Wiki in P5, and that's a brilliant race from D1 right there. I mean, it was for a lap, but yeah, that was a brilliant race.
2 laps of entertainment towards the end. Not a lot of drama, but Hirsch does get the podium, much to the delight of Caesar, who once again does nothing for a Constructors' Championship. And Abhishek's coming into the pits. He does not want to even cross the
And
finish
he
line, but he
retired,
will be
and he
forced to.
retired.
He will not get any points for his troubles. Chips will get 1 point for Alpine as Vintage finishes P11. But all in all,
So, yeah.
it is a good result for Somer, who's once again the reserve, but a good result for McLaren and Williams as well, as both have 1 car each on the podium, followed by VFX, who started on the front row but once again had a first lap incident and had to claw back a few places, still finishes a strong P4. Wicked Vicky started 10th and finished 5th, so that's a good race from him. Ethan had a lot of battles.
No, Abhishek broke my lap record.
Oh, he did. That is unfortunate. Ethan finishing P6 after starting P6, but he had a lot of battles for the podium positions. Noble Garter had a first lap incident as well, finishes in P7. Baz in P8. Bharat had more of a lonely race for the most part in P9, and Chips getting 1 single point for Alpine in P10. That's your top 10. That's the race, and we'll have a quick chat. Srikanth, if you can quickly invite Sumer, Shooter,
I
and
don't
Harsh.
have Sumer in my friend list, so
You can
can you
still
invite him?
invite him. Okay, ठीक है, I'll invite him. As long as you can help me with an invite for
Yeah, done with Harsh
and
and Shooter.
Shooter.
Waiting on
Let me see where Natsume is, and I will send him an invite.
So we have Sumayan here. So we are waiting in
Okay,
on Harsh and
fastest
Shooter.
on the track and fastest to join the party chat, Sumer, but you'll have to wait. We'll first speak with Harsh and Shooter before we come to you. All right, Harsh is here, and Harsh, let us know when you can hear us so we can start this podium interview. Harsh, Harsh, are you here?
I
And
am
he's
here.
still
Could you serve a
loading in.
voice?
So yeah, continue.
Uh, yeah, we are here. We are.
Okay, Harsh, congratulations on that podium. It was almost a race long battle for the podium, first with Ethan and then with Shooter in the second stint. Take us through your race and the both stints. And yeah, did you think you lost a lot of time battling between Ethan and Shooter and just lost that gap to Sumer in the front?
Yeah, so for the first stint, when I was actually leading the train, me, Shooter, and Ethan, we were actually going really fast. We were catching up to Sume by almost like three, 4 tenths every lap. But then Ethan started attacking both me and Shooter. Mm, that was basically when we gave up the win. Then we decided कि no point trying to defend against Ethan all every lap because he's just costing of time. We thought he was trying to help Baz catch up, but even that was not helping Baz. So yeah, Ethan fought a lot, and he also made some really aggressive moves today. But yeah, that happened. So Shooter and I decided, okay, we'll go for an undercut together because yeah, Shooter and I didn't fight really, Malav. We were working together for the most race, except for the last two laps. And yeah, so we went for the undercut, and because of DRS, we were able to fend Ethan for all the laps, and then the safety car came in. But yeah, safety car comes in, this was really rapid behind me. So I told Shooter that okay, I won't try passing you because I have to defend against VFX, and if we have some kind of collision, then VFX will get both of us. So it was really a safe game from both me and Shooter today. And I mean, yeah, he'll give you his explanation. But yeah, that's about it. It was just DRS all the 30 laps with Shooter and first 15 laps with Ethan.
All right, good pace, nevertheless, and congratulations. Srikanth, any questions for Harsh before we move on to
Yeah,
Shooter?
brilliant race from you, Harsh. And let us through your contact with Ethan out of the hairpin. You and Ethan going side by side, then making contact and losing time. Why didn't you back out so that you don't lose
Why
time to
didn't I
the guys
back out?
ahead? Yeah,
Well, okay, yeah, because I was ahead on the apex. I honestly thought Ethan would back out, but he just understeers into me and bump passes me. But yeah, that's for the steward room. So yeah,
I guess.
that's
Yeah.
about it. I was ahead at the apex. I thought that was my corner to take, and I th I Ethan thought the same. So that's what it is.
Hmm, I see. But nevertheless, a brilliant race from you. So yeah, mother, carry on.
All right, moving on to Shooter. Shooter, what a race from you. Congratulations on that P2.
Hey,
I have just one question. What happened on the first lap with VFX according to you? Because I think there was contact which led him to lose out a lot of positions. On your POV, what did you see?
my PO. By the way, hi Marlov, hi Shrikant. It's been a long time. Yeah, but yeah, on my POV, I was ahead and I gave him space, but I think he understeered or went on the curve. That's why there was a contact with me. I never felt the contact too because I was, and later on game gave me collision with, so I was like, okay, how did that happen? Because in my mind, in my POV, there is enough ample amount of space. But yeah, I think he did touch the curb. and he went into me.
Okay, unfortunate for
That's the
him, but
thing.
nonetheless, in the first stint, I think that is something which I wanted to ask Harsh as well. I missed asking that. Was it a bit surprising that Sumer was extending his gap despite being on Vaughn softs towards the end of the first stint? I know there was battling between the three of you, but still, it felt a bit surprising to us because most of the passes you were making on each other were on the straight, but Sumer was still keeping his gap or sometimes even extending the gap to almost 5 seconds before he decided to pit.
Yeah, means I thought that one race will not have image of Redstone anywhere, so that was a surprise. But yeah, the on yeah, on first attempt I was not that slow, to be honest, behind Sumay, and so was not Harsh. But yeah, since Ethan started battling us, I had to back out. Then there were a few bump passes where I had to take evasive action between, like bump passes between Ethan and Harsh. I have to take evasive action. I have to brake early. I have to brake hard. So I think nothing much to say, but yeah, I think it will be on the stream. But yeah, I think because of that battle, we lost it because we and Harsh, we were actually race engineering each other. We were actually helping each other out. We wanted to share a podium after a long time, and yeah,
Just like many today's.
yeah, being the equitable pace between us, we were not fighting each other, and we were just pulling each other out. So yeah, there was a third factor which was Ethan. I thought he will also work, but yeah, there was something else in his mind, I guess. That's what I'll say according to racing. No hard feelings and everything.
Okay, but well, you did end up sharing the podium, so I guess congratulations on that. Srikanth, any
Yeah.
questions for
No,
Shota?
no question for Shooter. Congrats, Shooter. And he summed it up pretty well and a brilliant cool head drive from you, Shooter, after that first lap incident or whatever that was. So, yeah,
Mm.
congrats on the P2.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, moving on to our race leader, not Sumer. Welcome back to the top of the podium. It's been a while. I'm not sure how many races or how many weekends it has been, but good to see you winning once again and dominant pace tonight. And take us through your race. That decision to start on the soft tires versus everyone else on mediums, except I think one car. Was it surprising to not see anyone else on those softs, Sumer?
Firstly, what's up, boys? It's been a couple of years, I think, since I've been here. Feels good to be back. Good to hear your voice, Malav. It's been a minute. Uh, but yeah, like, I really didn't practice for this race. I just drive as a reserve driver now, as all of you all know. So, just a few laps on time trial, and I had decent pace in time trial, so I was confident going into this race. And starting on softs, when I saw everyone else on mediums, I was a bit unsure if I made the right decision there. But the pace on softs was really good, and the reason I chose the softs was because in case there was a safety car in the start, I would just go towards the end on hards, but no safety cars, and I was happy with my pace. I didn't expect it really, but I hope this is not my first and last podium this year. I hope there are many more to come. So I hope this is just not a one-hit wonder, you know. I hope I can carry this on.
Yep, we hope so too. And you are the 100th man or the 100th incidence of someone winning from pole position. So that's a nice stat to have somewhere.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Nothing much to ask. I think you manage your race perfectly. And even after your pitting, you didn't lose much time to the drivers you were overtaking, except Noble Garter, who really parked it at the apex on the second last
Yeah.
corner, was a bit too familiar to see because what that's exactly what Checo did in Abu Dhabi. But Srikanth, any questions for our race winner?
Yes, I do. So, congrats on your win, Sumay. And yeah, that was a brilliant first stint from you. What was going through your mind in the first stint when you had softs on and the other guys were on mediums? Did you ever think of going on hards?
Yeah, so my plan was to just pull off the softs to mediums because I knew it would work. And if there was a early safety car, I would have 100% gone on the hards, go until the end. Luckily, it worked out. Pace was good, pace was strong, and I missed out on all the action behind. I couldn't really see what was happening, so it was a bit of an uneventful race for me.
I
I
can
just
I
Max
forget
perfectly,
if you
Verstappen.
drive so fast.
I
yeah, I
perfectly
wanted a
relate
bit
with
more
Samir.
action, bit more overtaking, but yeah, like a race win, but a bit boring. So it's all right.
It's almost like we are interviewing Verstappen here. Race win, but a bit boring. But nonetheless, I'm sure Sumit you will take it. And thank you to Abhishek for making it slightly more interesting, or at least attempting to make it more interesting in the last couple of laps. But yeah, if there is nothing else, this is goodbye and good night. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you Srikant for joining me in the comms box. We
Yeah.
will see you next week in Australia for the penultimate round of the Division 1 and Division 2 championships. And let's see where Division 1 is sealed. Constructors is yet to be played for, and I think there's a lot to be played for Division 2. So stay tuned to that. Congratulations to Sumer, Shooter, and Harsh once again. And from everyone here in IRL, this is goodbye and good night. Take care of yourselves.